Welcome everyone. This is a quick video on how to work with JSON objects in Agent.ai. And so I'm going to run this agent quickly. So let's say what it does is it takes a topic. So you can pick whatever topic you want. It uses Perplexity to go do some research on the topic. And then it generates a little title, a summary, and then a list of keywords. And then it loops through each of those keywords and just prints them out. And what I'm going to show you here are various aspects of working with JSON. How do you want to store something in JSON? How to use the convert to JSON new action that was added. How do you then use a JSON object in the for loop? For those of us who work with for loops know that you've got to create this Python list. But what if you just wanted to work directly off of the JSON object that you have? So I'm going to be showing all of that in this agent. So let's say I'm going to choose the topic, why is the sky blue? And while that is running, I'm going to quickly show you all the things in the agent. So this one you all know, enter the topic. And what I then do is I'm using Perplexity to go research this particular topic and return a short summary of the article with the title, summary, and a list of keywords. And I wanted to return in this kind of JSON format. For those of you who know, oftentimes when the LLMs return something in JSON format, sometimes they choose to, sometimes they add little strings. You just never know. And so I have it out underscore JSON underscore LLM. So the first thing, this was added new in when you go to edit action format text. So let me just show you where that is. You go here, you go to as format text, you click on it, and here you have you can make it into uppercase, lowercase, capitalized, remove characters. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, but at the bottom there is convert to JSON. So that's what I'm doing. I'm basically taking this and converting to JSON. What this then does is I don't have to write anything in my prompt to say just generate JSON, don't add any extra characters, don't add any strings, don't do anything. I can just give it something which is like a JSON and it'll convert it into a JSON that is then recognized. Then I am now looping over these JSON uh, list of keywords. Um, and so traditionally when we've used the for loop, again, for those of you used to, uh, you're used to giving a Python list and then we loop over a list of items, which I could have done. But what I wanted to see was, could I instead just use the JSON without converting to Python? So here what I'm doing is I'm actually passing, so my JSON object, it's got this attribute called keywords, and this length is basically the size of my keywords. So if I have 5 keywords, 3 keywords, it'll now dynamically loop through them. And then, so just to go back here, if you look at it, remember I have a list of keywords. So what I'm doing is I'm basically saying for this JSON object that I have, so again, this is the name of the JSON object that I'm using, out underscore JSON, out underscore JSON dot keywords. So if I go back now to my loop here, you'll notice it's out underscore JSON is the JSON object dot keywords, and put the pipe symbol and length. This is Jinja notation. And what it then does is it'll tell you how many times. So I can now loop through this based on the length of the JSON object. And all I'm doing here is I'm basically then printing. And so this is now, how do I get to the specific keyword? And so that's out underscore JSON dot keywords, and then square bracket for loop index. This comes from my for loop. And so it'll do 0, then 1, then 2, and it'll print out all of them depending on how many they are. And then that's the end of the statement. And then I'm printing out here a few things, out underscore JSON dot title. So this is how I get to the title of my JSON object. So my summary, and then Perplexity tends to give citations, and it's put into a metadata object, which is available to everybody. And so if you do metadata.citations, you'll get a list of citations. So this is my agent. And then if we now were to go look at what happened when I ran this, so you'll notice first keyword, Rayleigh scattering, atmospheric molecules, blue light, visible spectrum, sunset colors. So my for loop looped through my JSON object 5 times and then printed that out. And then this is why is the sky blue. This is the summary. These are the Perplexity citations. To really see this in action, you have to go to the debugger, and this is probably going to show all of this in gory detail. So you'll notice here, I have my metadata citations. This is what comes from Perplexity automatically, so I don't have to do anything. You could get also any information on how it came to this. So if you wanted metadata or thinking, you can get the reasoning behind it. And now this is my out underscore JSON underscore LLM. It's got my keywords. It's my list of 5 keywords. These are the ones you see printed over here. It's got the summary, it's got the title. Then what I do is I'm basically calling the format text, and it basically just returns a JSON object now. So it's all clean and in JSON. It's out underscore JSON is how I refer to that. And then the for loop then basically will now loop through each and every keyword. Remember, there were 5 keywords, 0 to 4. And so it's going to loop through this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that's the end of the for condition. And then it just outputs it. And so if we were to now look at each one of these, what it's doing is it is taking keyword number 2, atmospheric molecules. And then we go keyword number 3, and this is going to be blue light. And so each one of them is just looping through that. And so that's that. And at the end, I'm just outputting this information that you see over here. Hopefully this gives you an idea. It's a very kind of talk about all the various aspects of how you might think about using JSON. So it wasn't just about how do I get to the attributes, but then how do I use it in a for loop? How do I convert uh, text to JSON? All of these are added in this video. Hope you find this useful. Thank you.